Hello and welcome back to my ZX81 journey. Voting has finished and this is what we will be looking at today. Let's get started. Today's video is brought to you by PCBWay, the one-stop shop for all your PCB manufacturing and assembly needs. PCBWay offer high-quality PCBs at affordable prices with a wide range of options for your specific project requirements. Whether you're a hobbyist, a startup, or an established company, PCBWay can help bring your ideas to life. PCB prototype the easy way with PCBWay.com. I modified the design slightly to make printing and assembly easier. Let's take a look at the changes. First, if I hide the keyboard PCB, you can see I included this recess and cutout to enable the keyboard cabling to pass through and connect to the motherboard PCB. I also made these supports slightly larger so that I could add some threaded inserts. And here you'll see that this is no longer angled. I still have this recess area on top for the monitor though. And around here I've covered the USB power socket since I'll be powering both the monitor and computer from a single power connection that will be fitted to the rear of the unit. A big change is these cutouts for the connectors. By removing the top part, there is no need to print a support, and inserting the PCB is made a lot easier. Then around the back, I didn't add a connector to the design as I was yet to source one, so I figured I'd just drill a hole once it was printed. Here is the start of the print, and this took around 30 hours to complete. And here is how it turned out before I trimmed the brim off. Then we've got the top partially printed and how it came out, again before I trimmed the brim off. Next, I trimmed the brim off both units along with the supports. I found the supports quite tough to remove. A quick test to make sure everything fits as it should. Okay, looking good, time to move on. After removing the pins from the keyboard PCB, I soldered the ribbon cable into place. Next, I soldered the wires onto the power supply board. This board steps down the higher voltage that the monitor requires to 5 volts DC that the ZX81 Plus 38 requires. I added some double-sided tape to the rear of the power supply board so that it could be fixed into place. Then I printed some text for the front of the case. I was torn between two different sizes, so I printed them both to see which I preferred. In the end, I went with the larger text and set about creating a template to help me align the text on the lid. I then glued the letters and numbers in place using an all-purpose adhesive. The recess for the cabling could do with being a little larger, and I didn't have time to reprint, so in the end I just cut it out. Then I added threaded inserts by applying pressure with a soldering iron minus its tip. I drilled a hole in the rear of the case for the power connector and filed it out to the correct size as I only had an 8mm drill bit and the connector was 10mm in diameter. Next, I marked the top of the case and filed out the top part of the hole. Time for a quick tidy up. And then I installed the power connector. The monitor cable comes out of the side of the monitor and I needed it to come out of the bottom. So I removed the bottom of the monitor casing, measured and drilled a hole. I then measured and drilled a hole in the lid of the ZX81 Plus 38 case. Before sticking the monitor to the case, I gave it a good clean to ensure the double-sided sticky tape would stick well. With the monitor now stuck in place, it was time to set the voltage on the power supply board before installing it. I'm using a 9V power supply and adjusted the pot until I got 5 volts DC. After inserting the power supply board, I made the internal power and video connections. I soldered the 5V connection to the PCB and routed the wires underneath it. Next, I connected the incoming power supply wires to the input of the power supply board and a third pair of wires that would power the monitor. I covered the exposed joints with heat shrink. Notice I didn't have any black of the correct size, so yellow will have to do. I then covered the lot in black heat shrink to keep the wires neat and together. Then I stripped the monitor cable, connected the power wires, and again covered in heat shrink before connecting the video wire to the center pin of the video connector on the PCB. A quick power on test showed the black K cursor of the ZX81 plus 38. Great. Next, I connected the keyboard, which was quite fiddly, before performing another quick test. Since everything was working, all that was left to do was screw the PCB in place, followed by the keyboard PCB. And here is the finished build. The monitor folds flat for easy storage. It's also possible to use the composite output connected to a television at the same time as the built-in monitor. Now all there is to do is play a few games. And here is a relatively new game called Down, which I have covered in a previous video, and I got a little bit carried away playing it, hence I've sped it up. Now let's try some 1K chess. And of course, where would we be without this 3D cult classic, 3D Monster Maze? So here we are at the end of my ZX81 video journey. Now I hope you had as much fun along the way as I did. I couldn't have done this without a couple of people and a company, so I must give thanks to those now. Now in no particular order, PCBWay, thank you very much for sponsoring this video series and providing all of the PCBs that I used. Then you have Martin, the designer of the ZX81 plus 38, who I'm sure you'll all agree without which there would have been no video series. And finally, there was Patrick, who we bounced case designs ideas off each other, and I came up with this 3D printed one and he's come up with a wooden one, which I've seen some sneak preview videos that he's been putting together, and I'm super excited to see the end result, and when I do see it I will post it on here. So as always, if you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, take care.